it's your girl Shayla, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things spirituality, my locks, and what's going on in my world. I know it's been a while, and I say this every time, but I really am trying to be more consistent with bringing you guys content, encouragement, and so here I am. I feel like it's been almost a year since I posted on my YouTube because I have just been on this continued journey of self-discovery, and one that has now become like a self-acceptance. It's always been a self-love journey, but more so in the last couple years, self-acceptance. I turned 40 about 3-4 months ago, and it's been really nice. It's been crazy. It's been interesting, but it's also been really nice because I'm really getting to know myself in a different way. So today I wanted to share some things that I have learned now that I'm 40. I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'll start by saying that society puts so much pressure on women in general, but especially these expectations that we're supposed to have checked off this box and this box by the time we're this age. And it's so crazy. And I really love that I've made it a point to try to fight against that type of societal pressure and expectation. I've pretty much done all those things, like be married, have kids, have a career, travel. They haven't all panned out at the capacity that I hoped for when I was like 15 and doing the little, what are those fortune tellers of how I thought that things were gonna go. But I've got to experience them in some type of capacity, and I'm really grateful for that. But I also have pushed back by saying, like, age really is a number. It does not define who we are. And I'm so glad that I finally like understand that, like deep within my soul, like within my gut, that I don't know, I guess because most recently I feel like I'm just starting life all over, and I don't care about anybody's expectations about me. Like, all the pressure that I have about anything is just like from myself, because I expect so much from myself, of myself, and it literally has nothing to do with pleasing anybody else. And it's a really nice place to be in. I am taking care of my mental health like in a different kind of way, but better than I ever have. I've moved out of a victim place that I was in for a really long time, and I'm really like owning my life because I realize that no one's coming to rescue me, and it is my responsibility, no matter what has happened to me or in my life. It's my responsibility to heal the way that that has affected me. And I can make a whole lot of different videos, which I probably will, about what I've experienced to get me in a place where I am now responsible for healing healing the circumstances that I've been through. So I'll say that. But on top of the fact of like understanding at this age that no one's coming to rescue me, it gives me a lot of like freedom. I don't have to be sitting around like expecting it now. Like, I expect me to show up for me. I expect me to do something great that I can be proud of regarding myself. Now, if someone comes through and takes a lot of weight off my shoulders and, you know, puts me in the back seat and they're like, I want to do da 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 da, I will not stop them. And these are also things that I would tell myself at like 25 or at 30. Everyone's not your friend. Everybody's not your little friend. Acquaintanceship is awesome. You know, being someone's coworker is awesome, but everyone is not your friend. The way that I describe friendship is so different now. and being okay with small circles. Like, I was telling someone this the other day, the smaller your circle, the richer you are when it comes to your friendships. We should be so careful about who we choose to spend our time with. And as someone who is an empath and an introvert and a highly sensitive person, I specifically me. And if if that resonates with you, if that kind of describes who you are, like, it's so important to be very careful about where you spend your emotional, your mental energy, even your physical energy. When you are a highly sensitive person, you're more aware of the energy that you're exchanging with people. And a lot of people don't carry high vibrational energy. And so when you're making, decisions to spend time with said person, extended amount of time with that person, that type of energy will affect you. It will lower your energy. So if you're already like mid, it's going to be like low, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're in a high vibrational state, but you haven't learned how to harness and keep your energetics field closed, then it's going to lower your energy. That has really been a struggle that I have had for years. And I'm just now like really, really understanding not what it is, but how to protect myself. And like, when I say like the self acceptance, I'm accepting the fact that I am HSP and that I have to really like mentally prepare myself before I'm going to be socializing, because otherwise, which I've learned more and more recently, is that when I don't really prepare myself and I don't have all of my like coping mechanisms in place, I hit such an emotional brick wall, and like it takes days days for me to recover, and it's rough. It's hard for me to maintain healthy relationships because I haven't known how to protect my energy. But I'm happy. Like, I have how I spend my time now. It's learning how to accept and work with myself based on how life has made me. And I call myself a student for life. And actually, speaking of which, I just started reading this book, and I think everyone who has been a people pleaser, is a people pleaser, is struggling with codependency, or once was, and they've kind of recovered. It's easy to get back into those spaces. But this book that I've been reading, it's called um, Setting Boundaries, Finding Peace. I hope I said that correct. By Nedra Tawwab. And I'll put a picture of it here so that you can listen to it like on an audio, version, or buy the book. There's also a workbook. And last week I spent like almost the whole day. I take that back. That's not true. Not the whole day. It was like 4 hours listening to this book. And I was just like so enlightened, like realizing that I spent so many years being frustrated and just feeling burdens from other people because I had weak, poor boundaries. And these are things that are programmed, in us at a very young age, like people who are people pleasers, people who are hyper vigilant like myself. Like, we learn these things through our, blueprint as, little children. And I cannot fathom that it took me this long. But I'm laughing about it because I refuse to put that pressure on myself. But it's just like, wow, like, I wish that I would have had these type of resources and tools when I was in my 20s. But the beautiful thing, I'm learning it, and I'm teaching my two daughters who are in their 20s how to set boundaries so they can find peace. And man, it's so liberating. Like, the things that I have learned, and I'm not even halfway through the book. It has been so liberating, and I encourage anyone, like I said, if you struggle with boundaries, if you don't even know like how to set a boundary and keep it, like, this book is such a godsend. and it will really bless your life. And it will rub a lot of people the wrong way when you start learning boundaries. So that's another thing that um, at 40, I've learned and accepted that when you begin to put yourself first, it's going to piss people off. People are going to push back. People are going to want to remind you of where you came from. But you have to be 10 toes down on this is who I am. I don't care what I was last week or last year or 10 years ago. I'm not about that life anymore. And it feels so good because the people who were meant to be in your life, they will be in your life. And some people are temporary, some people are forever. And I have learned the art of detachment. You can love someone, but not allow your ego to make you feel like you own that person. Like they're free to move about life and you don't own them. They don't own you. You can love someone, but not be so attached to where when they're no longer in your life, like your whole world falls apart. And I had to learn that the hard way. I really did. When I tell you I had a spiritual awakening, it came via the worst heartbreak that I ever had in my life was in 2020. And I did not know if I would ever recover from that heartbreak. I'm a full-blown Libra, okay? Sun, moon, and rising. And I love love. I love hard. I'm a Libra through and through. And I have never been broken up for before until 2020, and I'm not even gonna lie, it was devastating. I don't know if I've ever admitted that on any of my videos, but it was devastating. And it's, it's just taken time and lots of therapy and lots of like inner work and self-reflection. But everyone's not meant to go on this forever journey with you, and you have to. If you don't know what detachment is, I definitely recommend looking into it, but it will ease the pain. So my next thing is feel your feelings. Oh, feel your feelings. I have encountered so many people who were shamed for crying, who were shamed for expressing themselves, especially women, like when they were little girls, or the parents or caretakers, family members who are like, oh, you're gonna cry, I'll give you something to cry about. And they carry that into their adulthood. Find a way to feel your feelings. And I say that because something that I've learned in the last year, and this is especially, I will never really be able to speak from a man's perspective, so I can only talk about what women deal with, and because I am a bit of an expert on my womanhood and my girlhood. When you hold in your emotions, it affects your well-being, it affects your health. So many more women end up with autoimmune disorders because they are holding back their feelings, holding in their feelings. I'm not saying to go off and cuss somebody out and smack somebody around, but find healthy ways to get your emotions out. When that negative energy, that pain is sitting stagnant in your body, it causes your body to wear down. It causes autoimmune disorders. Like there's so much research on this, and even little things like, this is like on a super simple scale. When I get upset and I'm yelling and my blood pressure's raising, I end up with the worst headache. I have a history of migraines, and I can't remember what that's connected to, but every type of like physical ailment that you have, it's connected to an emotion. Learn how to find healthy ways to balance your emotions, find healthy ways to get negative energy out, and to express your emotions, healthy coping mechanisms. It's necessary. Learning how to control yourself and not allowing your emotions to always take precedence over your logic. That is something that I've had to just learn with time and maturity, but I'm really glad that at 40, like I get it. I really try my best, despite, you know, my mental health challenges that I have occasionally, often, depends, to come from a place of logic and not emotion. So I'm really proud of myself that I've been able to work really hard. And this comes with a lot of shadow work and inner work to get to a place where I can balance emotion and logic. But emotions are good. We need them. They were given to us for a reason, but it's our responsibility to learn how to keep them in check, keep them controlled, get good energy flowing in, bad energy flowing out. And I'll leave my last point because I don't want to make this a super long video. Inner work and healing is an everyday journey. It has to become a part of your life routine. I remember times in my life, in my 20s, when I had no routine, everything was just chaotic. I was drinking a lot. I was trying to manage being a single mom with 2 kids. And I started super young having children, and it was hell. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. For years, it was rough. And, you know, after I got divorced, and it was something, but I also did not have the social skills. I did my best with what I could, but I didn't understand the importance of a routine. Now, through a lot of trial and error, I literally cannot function without routine, without structure. Like chaotic situations, like seriously send me like over the edge into like a protective shutdown mode. I just cannot function without that type of structure. And I like it. You know, I remember there was a time where I would judge myself because I'm not fitting in the boxes that society expects us to. And I honestly can say, because I've taken so much time being hidden, being in isolation, and embracing solitude, that I know who I am, what I like, what I don't like, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And chaos does not work for me, but structure, I love it. And I used to be a very free-spirited person, but it just goes to show that you can change. You do have the power to heal yourself. You don't have to continue whatever narrative you had 10 years ago, or that people who know you from 10 years expect of you. That narrative can leave whenever you decide that you want to change your life. It starts in here, believing in yourself, speaking what you do want to see for your life. It is amazing the way that our lives can change, because the power of life and death are in our mouth. So speak good for yourself, think good for yourself, believe good for yourself. That is literally how I strive to live my life every day. Yes, I have my moments because I am all girl. I am an emotional person. I love being an emotional being. I remember being, again, in my 20s. That was like the hardest part. No one could pay me enough to go back to my 20s. But I remember I would pray. I'd be like, God, I want to be more like a man. I want to be emotionalist, because that's what I thought about men. And I'm like, I still remember how silly that was, but it came from a place of hurt and not understanding this beautiful gift that I have as an empath, and how to connect with people on an emotional level, and how to make people feel heard, people to feel understood. Um, I'm just being very careful about where I share those gifts, but it is beautiful. So feel the feelings. And thank you so much for taking time to listen to what I had to say. I hope that this is encouraging to someone who has been really hard on themselves, or they just feel like they're not learning quick enough. At some point, You have to stop beating yourself up. I think it was Ayana who said, you cannot, what was the way? You can't hate yourself to wholeness or something along those lines. And I used to be so hard on myself. I still can be. I'm my biggest competition. I compete with no one but myself. um, but I can also be, self-critical. And, we can critique ourselves so much that we will begin to have a struggle of self-hatred. And that's not going to get you where you want to go. You want to do great things. So be kind to yourself. Start a self-love journey. Write about who you want to be, like as if it's present, And just want to leave you with one more thing of encouragement. And I say this to myself all the time. You are loved. You are important. You matter. This world needs you, even if it's just one person that you're meant to touch. So keep going. Straighten up your crown if it's tilted, and be kind to yourself. I'll see you in my next video.